Today, in the chapter The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, I am going to discuss the topic liberal nationalism. Now let us understand the meaning of liberalism. Liberalism is derived from a Latin root liber, which means free. Means it talks of freedom. Now let us understand what type of freedom they are talking about. They are political liberalism, economic liberalism, social liberalism. So, first of all, I am going to discuss economic liberalism. Now, let us understand the meaning of economic liberalism. Economic liberalism means freedom of markets and abolition of state-imposed restrictions on the movement of goods and capital. In simple terms, we can understand that markets should be free, means it will be easy to carry out the goods from one place to another. And a state-imposed restriction, what does it mean? That is restriction of the government. Restriction is on what? That is movement of goods and capital. So these restrictions should be abolished. This is referred as economic liberalism. Now, let us understand the economic liberalism in context of German states. As you know that Germany was a confederation of 39 states. And in this confederation of 39 states, they had their own currency, they had their own weights and measures. In simple words, which I want to explain to you, that in each state they had a currency, they had a weights and measures, and if the goods moved from one state to another, there was a variation in currency, there was variation in weights and measures. So Germany, where it consisted of confederation of 39 states, what happened? That under the leadership of Prussia, what they did, that they formed a custom union, and that custom union is known as Zollverein. When it was formed in 1834. And who was the leader? That is the Prussia. So Prussia took lead in forming a custom union. In which year? In 1834. Now you will ask me, why this custom union was created? What was the reason? The first reason I told you, that the currencies differed from one state to another. Weights and measures differed from one state to another. and there was hindrance of movement of goods, people and capital. Means it was not easy to move from one state to another, and tariff barrier between them, that is levying of duties in each state. Suppose from state 1 a product moves to another state, then the duties will be levied and that product cost may increase. So because of all these reasons, that is hindrance of the movement of goods, people and capital, because of the tariff barrier, because of the different currencies of different states, because of the different weights and measures of different states, then all the German states decided under the leadership of Prussia to form a custom union which is known as Zollverein. Then what was the aim of this? The aim of this custom union was to bind Germany economically into a nation. Means they will come together because they will be economically dependent, and to strengthen nation materially, means to make the nation economically strong. Then what did they do? That after forming the custom union, what they did do? That they abolished tariff barrier. There was no tariff barrier. Means what happened? That now the goods could be moved, people could be moved, capital could be moved easily from one state to another. Reduce the number of currencies from over 30 to 2. Means more than 30 currencies were there. Now it has been reduced to 2. And creation of network of railways. Why they created a network of railways? In order to stimulate mobility. Means it became easy to move the goods from one place to another. Naturally, it had a great impact. What was that impact? That it prepared the ground for national unification and awaken and raise national sentiment through a fusion of individual and provincial interest. Now the people talked of national sentiment. Now they came up above the region, above the province, and they came together for national unification of the country. So, creation of Zollverein or custom union in 39 states of Germany under the leadership of Prussia is the best example of economic liberalism. Now let us talk of social liberalism. In social liberalism, what it talks? It talks of freedom for the individual and equality of all before law. Means there will be no discrimination in law. Everyone will be free, and it stressed on private property, that is inviolability of private property. So freedom to the individual, second equality before law, and third right to property. But when we talk of social liberalism at that time, we find a different picture. Some limitations are there. What are those limitations? Equality before law did not necessarily stand for universal suffrage. Means everyone had no right to vote. So this can be best explained in condition of France. Let us understand. Right to vote granted to property owning men. Only property owning men could give vote. And they were known as, I had told you in the previous video, active citizens. And women were excluded. Women had no right to vote. So, right to property granted to whom? Only to the active citizens. Only to the persons who had certain amount of property. But the picture changed during the Jacobin period. What was the picture? That all adult males enjoyed suffrage. Means all adult person had given the right to vote. But again, the reverse was there in Napoleonic Code. What had happened in the Napoleonic Code? That limited suffrage granted and reduced the woman to the status of minor, subject to authority of fathers and husband. Means they will be under the control of father and husband. They were not given the right to vote and suffrage was limited. Only few people were given the right to vote. Except in Jacobin period, all adult males enjoyed suffrage. So this is though we got the social liberalism, but within limitations. Now, let us talk of the political liberalism. Political liberalism is nothing but end of autocracy and end of clerical privileges. And what it talks of? It talks of a representative government where constitution will be there, where parliament will be there. Means constitutional and representative government through parliament. Means end of monarchy and starting of a system where the people will give vote and form their own government through a representative government, through parliament, and there will be a constitution which will talk of the laws of that area or a country. So these are the economic, political and the social liberalism. In the next video, I will talk of another topic